See, the common table expression or with query or subquery factoring, all are synonyms we can say. So I know I loaded, I have created a table, temperature or weather, whatever we can call it as, and I loaded some data like March month data. Let me run. So this table contains these 4 columns, the column city, temperature, date, and minimum temperature and maximum temperature. Okay. So for testing purpose or for discussing purpose, I just loaded the data for only 2 cities, that too March month. Okay, if you see the Hyderabad and Delhi, only 2 cities that considered. You can see almost 1 month data for each city. Okay, so this is the sample data. If you are able to see, my screen is only, I took 4 columns, but in real time you may see more than these columns. Okay, so try to understand the topic, then apply the same in our real-time world also by taking another example or complex example. Okay, so thing is, why we have to use CTE and what exactly the CTE and what is the advantage of by using the CTE. Okay, so let us say this is the table, right? Let us say we need to write a query where want to pick uh, minimum temperature and maximum temperature. Minimum temperature in the sense, I want to take only maximum temperature, let us say the 4th column, but I want to see what is the minimum temperature in this column and what is the maximum temperature again in this column. Okay, for each city. That is my requirement to write that query. Then generally how we will write, select city, city. I don't want let me take date also, date not required. I just want city and maximum temperature. Okay, so maximum temperature of 4th column and minimum temperature of 4th column. Please ignore the 3rd column as of now. Okay, I am not looking for actual minimum temperature. Okay, so let me write aggregate function like minimum of the 4th column. What is the 4th column? It is max underscore temp column. Again I want maximum also. Okay, maximum of 4th column itself. Temp. Let us say average also we will take it. Okay. Average of max of same column. Okay, same column from for the temperature table. This is the query. Okay, I think since we are using aggregate, then we have to use group by, right? Because the city is there. So whatever the column that we are not using in our aggregate functions, that should come in group by class. Okay, then run it. See here, this is what we are expecting, right? Okay, for Delhi, this is the the temperature minimum, and from the 4th column, please remember that. Okay, I'm not using 3rd column at all. Okay, from the maximum temperature, this is the minimum and this is the maximum, and average is the 31.45 degrees centigrade. Similar way for Hyderabad also, minimum and maximum same, but average is different. Okay, so this is a simple query. Many people you already know how to write this query and all, but where we have to implement CTE. Okay, so CTE generally we have to use in recursive when we are using a condition or the data the query recursively, then that time we have to use this CTE concept. Okay, that is one case. The second one is performance tuning. Okay, so let us assume this is a small data, it is fine. It won't take much time. But what about if we have a millions and billions of data? Okay, this kind of method or the statement will take longer time than the expected. Okay, so to do the performance tuning, we should use some techniques like in Hive, right? We have a partitioning. Okay, we can partition based on the Delhi or city, or we can partition based on the dates also. Okay, and what else we can do? We can also do the CTE method to get a better output. And also in real time, right, when we are running same query multiple times, what happened, the resources also will consume, and it will affect on other projects where other queries are running in parallel. Okay, so to minimize that, we should use this type of concept, so that it will helpful for both the cluster resources as well as performance tuning. And query also, it looks very simple than the normal query which we written. Okay, so if somebody, you may develop one query, but somehow you left the company, and some other person came and play in your place and want to look into that code whenever if they see any remediation work or any debugging purpose. So that time it is very hard to understand and debug that code, right? So our code should be in a proper manner, and everybody should understand that code. So that way, if we want to write that way, definitely we have to use these concepts. Okay, let me write how we generally write CTEs, okay, and get the output. Okay, so this is one concept, right, and one query that we are looking. And another one, let us assume I want only 15 days data. Okay, let us we have 30 days data in our table, but I want only 15 days data. Then in that case, what you will do, simply you can add where condition, where what is the date, what are the column names here, let me run it. The column name is temp underscore date, right? Okay, so where temp underscore date date between 2009 03 01 to between, I want only till 15. Okay, March 15 03 015. Okay, so now we are doing sum or minimum, maximum, and average only for these days. Okay, let me run it. See, now the details has been changed, right? So this is also fine. Okay, this is also fine. Here we have only 1 month of data in our table. This is fine. But what in case like we have a data from 1950 to till date? Okay, if I write this query, you just imagine how much time it will take to locate these dates and do all these aggregations, right? It will take a lot of time, correct? So what else we can do to optimize this query? Of course, we can do partitioning. That is very good. Let us assume we have a partition based on some dates. Okay, that case also fine. But what about let us we have some cities in our country. We have more than 50 cities, major cities. So that time, if I want to write one more condition like and city is equal to Hyderabad. Now tell me, this also fine, right? We can run this query and we will get it output. But imagine the whole data, like if you have a billions of records, if you run this kind of thing, what will happen? It will create burden on our cluster, and definitely our queries will be slowed down. Okay, this is one query I'm saying. So in our real-time queries, right? Not only this, we may write many other queries on this table. Okay, for this data. So in that time, what will happen? This is one time and one query. If I write the same like this also for Delhi, okay, for Delhi, what will happen? We will get it. Okay, but like this, if we have multiple queries in a same main query, then it will impact our performance, right? Because this part is common. This part is common in between these two queries. Do you agree? Right. So when we run this together, let me do union for simplicity. See here. Let us say this is our query in real time. So you are running this. Okay. What happened internally? This query and this query. Okay. These two queries are will give the similar output, right? If we won't consider this, then definitely these two queries output are similar. That means our cluster ran 2 times and utilized configuration 2 times or resources 2 times and given the output. But that is not a good approach, right? Okay, if you have a multiple requirement like this, then our query length will be more, right? And it looks very hard when you come back and see. Even sometimes you may not understand your code whatever you written. Okay, that cases may be there in real time. So to avoid this, we can use the CTE concept and reduce the burden. Okay, what exactly the CTE? Let me rewrite the query. Okay, let me keep aside. Okay, so we have to write a with first and give some alias. Okay, let me write weather as. Okay, weather as. Okay, keep it aside and now concentrate the query what we want to write. Okay, so I will take this code as it is. Okay, I will take this code as it is. Right now, close it. Don't give any alias. That's it. Okay. We need maximum temp only. So I don't want all this. I want city max temp column. Max temp column. That's 2 columns only I want, right? 2 columns only I want. Okay, if I want to write this query, this data is enough, right? This data is enough, right? Select city max temp from this table where temp underscore date is between this. Okay. Now fine. So let me run this. If there are any issues, then we'll see. Okay. Okay. So this is the data that we are using in our this query, correct? So what we can do? Use same query, change this to weather. What it will do when you run this, this output will be stored in this temporary table. Okay, I'm just using a word called temporary table. Actually, that is not a temporary table. The data, whatever comes out of this query, will be available in this weather some temporary table, which is valid only till this completion of whole query. Okay, so when you close this window, then the data may not be there in this in a temporary table. Okay, which we are discussing. Now what will happen? It will run only one time. Okay, and load the data, load data here. Okay, now let me run the same query which we ran just now. I think I no need to write this condition, right? Because data which is there in this table or temporary table or CTE itself is having the same data what we are expecting, correct? So, and only I have to mention city. Okay, I have to mention city, right? And this the remaining is as it is. Now we just run this. Okay, see here, we got this. Let us assume the same query, union, value. Same query. We ran this previously, right? The same query. I changed this one. Now union. I'm doing union. Oh, sorry, I have to run a total this. See here, we got it right. So what is the difference between the previous execution and this execution is, previous execution, this query executed 2 times. Okay, whereas in this execution, this query executed only 1 time, and output utilized in 2 queries, in 2 subqueries, we can say. Okay, so here directly this will increase the performance, and it will also, when you see this, right, this query, it is very easy to understand, very easy to understand. So the moment we see weather, we will see what is the weather, then directly we will go here and see, okay, weather means this is the data which holds. So it is very easy, if any person come and see, okay, that time also it will create a very good sort of impression. Okay, and moreover, we are saving a lot of resources. Okay, uh, right. So let's assume this is one, right? We can also write something like that. I mean, we can also extend this query. How we can extend? Let us assume I will take again this query. We can use multiple like let us say weather underscore Hyderabad is another city that I'm creating. Okay, so when we are using more than one cities in our whole query, you have to put comma here. Okay, and start again with bracket and close it. Okay, so let me I want to take all the columns where is Hyderabad. I don't want this. Okay, so what does it mean? See, our table, this table is having whole all cities data, right? Let us say this table is having 50 cities data, but I'm interested in, I want to do some aggregations only in Hyderabad cities data. Then that time I don't want to write my this complex queries and whole table, right? Why should I use the queries and waste my resources and waste my time? Instead, what we can do, simply we can create a CTE, okay, and load entire Hyderabad data into this table or this CTE and use this data in queries. Let us write this query as well. Okay, select, okay, select count of star and just give an example. Okay, from Hyderabad. See this, we got count. Like that, you can use this one. Okay, you can use directly this one. Okay, this query. You don't need to write where condition because I want to use this city. I want to use this city here. Okay, this city holds 1 month data of Hyderabad, right? So when you run this, you may have one doubt. If we are not using this, why should we have this one? Of course, you can remove it, but this may be used in another tables, right? In other queries, right? That is the reason I'm just keeping the same. Okay, run it. See here, we get Hyderabad data. Okay, so we can write number of queries or number of cities in an actual query where we can improve the performance. So you may have one more doubt, like why should we use this? Because where condition we can directly use here also, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We can use, but the simpler data, it won't make sense. But if you have a huge data and many complex transformations, if you want to write, and many subqueries, if you want to write, then that time, we will see the actual difference. Okay. Here I explained only one table. Let us assume in real time we may have more tables, like 10 tables or 5 tables, where we have to run our aggregations or transformation and more than 2-3 big tables. Okay, based on the requirement. Okay, unnecessarily should not create and burden the again cluster. Okay, wherever it is required, then that time only we have to use this with class and this CTE. Okay, and when we use this, then sometimes our code is drastically reduce number of lines as well. So if the code is reduced number of lines, obviously performance of the code is also increased. Okay, and it is very easy to understand for everyone whoever is developing. Okay, guys, any questions as of now? Did you able to understand what is the CTE common table expression, and how we can use, and what are the advantages, and how we can use this in our day-to-day activities or in projects when we are developing complex queries? Okay, guys, are you able to understand?
Yes, Naresh.
Okay, so do you have any scenario, where we can apply the CTEs? Any scenarios? Let us assume there is a employee and employer. Okay, or employee and department tables. We generally take an example, right? In that case, we may write so many complex queries based on the requirement. So there is a possibility, like if I want only particular department employees details, then why should I search entire table? In that case, I can directly go ahead and create one CTE, like select start from the employee table where department is so and so. That's it. All that data belongs to particular department will be stored in a temporary table. Okay. Why I'm saying we generally use this CTEs in our queries when we are writing more than 300 and 400 lines of code in Hive especially. So personally, I'm telling you, when I used, when I used to write a queries without CTEs, let us say the queries are almost, let us say 300 lines. But when I used CTE with this optimization, the code reduced up to till 200 lines or 250 lines. So straight away. Okay, and it is very easy to understand. Okay, so guys, this is the important topic. Please try to practice with our real time. Again, take a huge data set and practice in Hive. Okay, because why I'm saying practice in Hive, because here you won't see performance different. But when you load huge data, let us say 1 GB of data, 2 GB of data into the cluster, and write a big query like this by using CTEs and without CTEs, then you will get a clear clarity, like based on the, I mean to say performance difference. Okay, performance difference between these two queries without and with using CTE. Okay, and yeah, that's it from my end. All right, guys. Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Take care.